Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the regular Board of Trustees meeting for July 12th, 2022. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Carlsbad.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gray.
Here.
Trustee Sorcelli.
Here.
Trustee Ayers.
Here.
Trustee Murphy.
Here.
And Trustee Hardy will be absent this evening.
All right. Next on our agenda is citizen participation. This is an opportunity for anyone in the room tonight or online to speak to anything that is not on tonight's agenda. And we don't have anyone signed up. Is there anyone that didn't sign up that wishes to speak? Okay. Don't see anyone. Is there anyone online?
Mayor, we do not show anybody online.
Okay. We'll move on now to consent agenda. Consent agenda are just routine matters. I would like to ask if we could remove item A, which is tonight's meeting agenda from approval. Basically, the final agenda item, which would be to review and vote on the Newell Farm contract, is premature. Talking to Attorney Smith and also in agreement with Butch and Sarah, the sellers. There's still some work to be done on that. So I'm just asking if we could remove item A from that and then approve consent agenda minus item A.
And rearrange.
And does that work? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item A?
I move to approve the consent agenda minus item A.
I'll second that.
All right. The motion's been seconded. Clerk, may a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grace.
Yes.
Trustee Sorcelli.
Yes.
Trustee Ayers.
Yes.
Mayor Carlsbad.
Yes. Okay. So next on the agenda is the first from the consent that we pulled, and that's item A. Basically, since we're not doing the final agenda item, we're just going to rearrange things. So we'll move up the Larimer Emergency Telephone presentation next. Move the executive session to follow reports because we won't be taking any action tonight, and totally remove the action item regarding the Newell Farm real estate contract. Does that work with everyone?
Mm-hmm.
All right, is there a motion to approve the July 12th, 2022 agenda?
I will move as amended.
All right, is there a second?
A second.
All right, Trustee Ayers has moved, Trustee Sorcelli has seconded. Any final discussion on that? Clerk, may a roll call vote?
Trustee Sorcelli.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grace.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Ayers.
Yes.
Mayor Carlsbad.
Yes, all right, thanks for dealing with me on that. All right, next is LETA. So we have Kimberly Culp here from LETA to present, and we have Chief Anderson right up here. All right, I'll turn it over to you.
I'm Kimberly Cope. Mayor and trustees, thank you for letting us come up here. This is an important thing that we've really been trying to work on for a couple of years now. COVID kind of threw a kinker into it, but last year and this year we've been really pushing to get people to sign up for emergency alerts. They changed it to NOCO Alert. I think most of you have seen that now. That is the same thing. It's the exact same thing. So when we have an emergency alert, you get it on your phone. And Kimberly's going to give me some numbers because we really feel that we were at the bottom with people who have signed up, and we've been really working. So she's going to give me some numbers, and I'll bring that to you. But for now, I'd like to introduce Kimberly Culp. She's the Chief Executive Officer for LETA. Am I right?
You are.
Okay. All right, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the time tonight to address the town and walk through emergency alerts. So I'm going to start with a little bit of background just because not everybody knows who we are, and we're not a vendor, so I think that's important right away to start with, is I'm not here to sell you anything. Nothing I'm going to talk about today is going to cost you more money or anything like that. Perfect, it's moving along. So we are a government agency, and we are formed through an IGA with 30 government partners, and we recently renewed our IGA and we revamped it and brought it current to our daily business, and Bertha, the town, signed that IGA. So we worked with your legal counsel and just went through that whole process in 2021. We have 5 911 centers and a 6th, which is our live backup center. So that is where anybody in the county needs to evacuate or split their operation. They can go to our 6th center, which is located just south of Shields, and we have a live site logged in, ready to go. Unfortunately, we've had to use it several times already, and it could have been from an HVAC going out or some other situations going on at the center, so civil unrest, for example, where they wanted to relocate critical staff and have them work out of the live backup center. So we're really happy to have that and be able to offer that to our partners. Our job is to oversee the administration of 911. So it's not about the people, we're not managing the 911 personnel. What we're really managing is when you place your 911 phone call all the way until the first responders arrive on scene, the technology, network, and equipment that is used to process that call. So emergency medical dispatch, if we're going to administer CPR over the phone, all the training and programs and technology used for doing CPR. So we oversee that. We review the calls to make sure that the calls are done correctly, and if there's any training or counseling that needs to happen, so somebody said something maybe not quite perfect for the program, then we pass it on to the 911 center, and then they work with their people and get them aligned to the protocols. So all of that equipment and technology, network, call routing, that falls to us. So that's what our jobs are. So from a equipment perspective, a lot of questions we receive on how your funding works and how much money do you receive and what does that take to support a 911 system for all of Larimer County. And we are funded through a 911 surcharge, and that surcharge is placed on your phone bill, and it's for your cell phones, your internet phones, and also landline phones. So it's per month per phone line. For students that maybe have their parents live out of state and they're at CSU campus, we don't collect revenue, so it's all about billable address. Our tourist population, so people that come here and recreate, we don't get any revenue from them either. But we have to build a 911 system that can support our tourist population, and that's 4.5 million people to Larimer County just from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and all of our student population at CSU campus, which is roughly around 33,000 faculty and students. The 911 board sets the surcharge, so you have a seat on the board. You're represented through our small town seats, and our small towns have 2 seats. And right now we have one of the captains from Estes Park, and we have one of the captains from CSU that represents all of our small towns in Larimer County. So at any time, if Berthoud is interested in filling a small town seat, the IGA allows for that. You just express your interest, and then one of those seats needs to be renewed. That goes in front of the LETA board, and then you would have the opportunity to sit on the board of directors. So we set the surcharge, and what we can fund in that 911 surcharge is outlined in state statute. So we can't just fund anything we want. It has to pertain to 911, and again, from that call routing when you place 911, to the delivery and the response of the first responders. So it's outlined in Title 29, very clear, allows us some good direction on how we spend that money. To increase above $1.81, so our surcharge is at $1.10. To go above $1.81, we have to actually file in front of the Public Utilities Commission and seek special approval. So we have to prove we have a need and a cause, and then they go through our budget and ask a lot of questions. So a lot of controls are in place for that as well. From an average in the state, it's $1.60. So we're at $1.10, we're below the state average from a surcharge. And at any time, if you have any questions, please interrupt me because I'll just keep going. My background is in 911 and we talk fast. So don't hesitate to interrupt me. So the intent of the discussion today is really geared towards emergency alerts. So we want to talk through and explain what emergency alerts are here in Larimer County and specifically answer any questions you may have. And then at the end of the discussion today, if we have time, I'm going to give you a demonstration of what's going to be live August 1st. So I have live video in dispatch that we're going to be able to demonstrate tonight. And that again will be ready to go August 1st. So as already mentioned, we rebranded our emergency alerts to NOCO Alert. And that was just to represent all 30 government partners that we have in Larimer County. So we didn't want it to be tied to one agency since we represent 30 agencies. And so what I'm gonna do is talk through each layer in that handout that you have and go through what is added into our emergency alert system. So the first item in our emergency alert system is the landline database. So that is where we take all of those landline phone numbers in Larimer County and we add them into the emergency alert system. And we add them in monthly. So any kind of change, deletions, additions, it gets updated once a month. And we go out and we obtain those numbers from Lumen, which is also CenturyLink. We also are able to obtain those from Comcast. So we do have all the landlines and Comcast that readily provides those numbers to us. And we add them in the emergency alert system. We internally geocode that, and that's really important because accuracy is critical. If we need to evacuate a number inside a neighborhood or an area of a neighborhood, a subdivision, we need to make sure that those numbers are geocoded exactly on top of that primary structure. You may have a large area, a large parcel, multiple buildings. We want to make sure that we know exactly where that phone number is on that large parcel. So we do all of that in-house and we get it incredibly accurate. Any questions on that? Okay. The next piece is language translation. So this language translation is new. We went live with it April 1st. Incredibly excited to be able to offer it. We are first in the state of Colorado. And in fact, I haven't found another emergency alert authority that has done anything with language translation outside of being able to translate messages to Spanish. And that's it. So what we ended up doing was looking outside of our traditional emergency alert tools, and we partnered with this app creator, and it's called ReachWell, and they are live in the Denver Public Schools, and they're also live in Eaton and various different library districts. And what this app does, it allows you to download the app. You would search for NOCO Alert, and you can select the language of your choice, up to 103 different languages. I push the emergency alert in English. If you choose Farsi, the emergency alert will reach you and display to you in Farsi or Mandarin or Spanish or anything else that you pick in that 103 different options. So went live with it April 1st. Unfortunately, we've had a few fires that we've had to do some evacuations on. We were able to seamlessly push it out to this ReachWell app and have it translate for the citizens that have downloaded that. We only have about 980 people that have taken advantage of this app so far. So we really look to all of our partner agencies to help us get the word out and advertise that this is available if they have a need. Any questions on that piece? Okay.
So it's not called NOCO Alert, you're downloading ReachWell.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And then when you download ReachWell, you would search for NOCO Alert.
Okay.
You'll see our logo, and that's when you know you found the right landing spot. Yes, sir. All right, keyword alerts. So we went live with keyword alerts several years ago, and what this allowed us to do is push emergency alerts out to people that signed up via a keyword, and it was really meant for people that were maybe transient, so they're visitors to our area, or they just didn't want to create a relationship with us and create an account with a username and password. And it also allowed some flexibility to our partner agencies to create maybe community alerts. So not imminent threat to life, but still important information that they wanted to push out. So this keyword alert has been around for quite a while, where citizens can opt in for emergency alerts by texting the word NOCO Alert to those numbers 888-777, and then they're automatically added in the system, and they would receive all emergency alerts countywide. So not location-based, it's an option to get everything. And some people really want that. They live here in Berthoud, but maybe they go to Estes Park frequently, or they work up in Fort Collins, or they just want to know because they drive around a lot and they just feel like, I want to have that situational awareness countywide. This keyword allows you to opt in and do that. Berthoud said, hey, this is a great idea. We want to take it another step, and we want to use our own keyword for more community engagement, and especially if you do any West Nile virus spraying or anything else that you want to talk to your community about, you have your own specific keyword you set aside that you can advertise for citizens to opt in for keyword alerts by texting the word Berthoud to 888-777, and then they would automatically be added in. and they would receive community alerts. So any kind of public information you wanted to push out from the town, you would be able to do that. So you went live with that several years ago, and it's ready for you to utilize whenever you would like. During evacuations, if we were to evacuate an area within the town, we automatically tell those that are being displaced to opt in to LCEVAC, which is a Larimer County evacuation keyword. That allows us to communicate important evacuation updates for that particular event. So we know they're gonna be displaced from their home, they're gonna be displaced from that landline, and we may need to talk to them and tell them credentialing information or when they're gonna be able to go back to their house. We unfortunately had a lot of experience with this in 2020 with the 5 fires that impacted Larimer County. And we stood up different keywords based on the fire because we may be allowing some folks to go back for Cameron Peak, but then we had Bluestone. Then we had Mullen that came down and Troublesome. So we had different keywords to allow us to talk to different people displaced by those different fires. We work with the Sheriff's Office, we work with your fire department to make sure that we are coordinating what's needed for any particular event. Any questions on this? All right, so Berth, it's ahead of the game on having your own keyword, so congratulations on that. We encourage you to continue to advertise it and get the message out there, but not all 30 government partners have embraced this. Windsor just recently looked at this and said, Berth, it's doing this, we gotta do it, and we created a keyword for Windsor. So hats off to you on being visionary in this area. In March of 2020, we went live with this NOCO Alert branding and the NOCO Alert website. This is critically important because it's not a way for us to call people at their homes, but allows people after an evacuation or during an event to see what's going on. So we publish everything to this NOCO Alert website, and we'll actually show the polygon. They can click on the polygon, read the emergency message. There's also the ability to search their address so they can see how close the danger evacuation area it is to their home or an address of interest. So this we went live with March, and we unfortunately had to start using it in August, and from August to November we had 14.8 million views and visits to that website just to see the evacuation areas. So incredibly successful. This is just an example of what our map at one point looked like that summer. So we will load in there data that we have that's public facing, information that will help our citizens out. So if we have a road that's closed, we'll flag that and we'll reflect that on the map. The black areas are all the different fires. So if we have the fire boundary of what actually burned, and then the red are all different polygons at one point that we had evacuated at the same time. And then again, when you click on that polygon, you can read that emergency message. I know it's pretty small, but it just goes through and gives you all of that information. You'll see the top bar up there is where citizens can search their address. So we built it on a Google platform because that was a very common look and feel for our citizens, and that was important for us to make sure that it felt similar to what they use day in and day out. All right, citizen opt-in has been around the longest, and this is where citizens can go to our NOCO Alert website. Your town website's fantastic. You have a big banner right there with NOCO Alert advertised, which is, we love that. Thank you so much for that. It's not buried anywhere, it just jumps right out at you. And that's where citizens can go to our NOCO Alert website, create an account, and when they go there, they can add in their personal information, meaning their cell phone. They can opt to get a phone call, get a text, they can add an email, even we still do pages. They can add in a fax number. So however they want to get called in an emergency, they create an account. And then they can also add up to 5 different addresses. So they may not want to have that NOCO Alert for all, but they may want to have their address in Berthoud, then they work maybe in Fort Collins, and they have family that lives in Estes Park, so they can target 3 different addresses and put that in the system. So the citizen opt-in really is an important piece to it, and we encourage everybody that lives here or works here to create an account and get registered in the system. Any questions on this? All right. Social media. So as much as I love to think everyone knows about NOCO Alert and LETA and everything we do, they don't, but they know about you. So they know about the town, they live here, they're vested, and so we encourage all of our partner agencies to tie their social media to our emergency alert templates. So then that way, when we push out emergency alerts, we can also publish them to your Facebook, to your Twitter, to your website. Because if we don't have a citizen opt-in account, they don't have a landline, they didn't do anything with NOCO Alert, they're not getting the message. But they may follow you on social media. And at least in that part, we're reaching them. And that's all we care about when we do an evacuation, or we just want to reach people. So we encourage the town to think about getting all of your social media added in to the emergency alert system. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about IPAWS. So LETA staff, our operations staff, we are certified through FEMA to send out IPAWS. So this is one area that received a lot of criticism in the discussions after Marshall Fire, and that was who's sending, why didn't WIA specifically get activated? So let me talk a little bit about IPAWS. IPAWS is integrated in our emergency alert tools. It's one of those layers on your sheet that I handed out to you. So in an emergency event, we can send out, by a click of a button, IPAWS and hit multiple different channels for IPAWS. IPAWS is a FEMA program. We are certified through FEMA to send it, we being LETA, and we can use our emergency alert tools to initiate. So it's not a different system. We don't have to log in someplace else and take time to be able to do that initiation. Same system, it's just depending on the emergency would we decide to send that out. So IPAWS, overarching underneath IPAWS, that's where you would hear your phone start to make a loud noise and read the message, and that's called a WIA, which means I'm sending it out to wireless cell towers, and if you are within the area of that cell signal, it will alert your phone. So I would determine the area I need to evacuate, draw a polygon, cell tower within that polygon, you're within that cell tower range, your phone would get pushed that emergency message. That's called a WIA alert. In 2020, we sent 6 WIA alerts. One for Mullen Fire, one actually prior to Mullen Fire was for COVID because our health director issued a stay-at-home order ahead of Governor Polis. So we did a WIA IPAWS alert for that, and then 5 for the different fires. One for Mullen, and then the other 4 were for trouble, someone that was pushing down and threatening the entire community of Estes Park. So that's the WIA element to it. IPAWS also has the EAS, the Emergency Alert System, and that's where your traditional across your TVs and your radio, and they test all the time and you hear it. We can also push emergency alerts out to weather radios. So you're used to your weather radios going off and telling you about floods and severe weather and tornadoes. I can push out a fire evacuation order, a police shelter at home order on a weather radio. So that's new as of 2021. We've tested it and it works great, and it's something we're prepared to do if needed. So we do encourage people to get weather radios and add that layer of protection into their home. And then there's the internet-based emergency alerts. So if you follow like Google Alerts or anything like that where you can get an internet alert pushed to you, we can also push out to the internet. So the IPAWS alerts, again, one more layer, multiple layers underneath that, but we are prepared and ready to send it if an imminent threat to life alert reaches that level where we need to move a lot of people and move them quickly. So think of it as like casting a wider net. We can go very specific, keyword alerts, social media, drawing polygons in homes, or we can add in more and move a lot of people pretty quick by adding in the IPAWS alerts. So I know it's a lot of information, so any questions on all the different pieces that we have for emergency alerts? So for us, to get a complete emergency alert system, we couldn't select just landlines or just opt-ins. We really have built this multi-layer approach, and that multi-layered approach for us is a complete alerting system. So it allows us to be able to reach people where they are and how they want to be called and notified. So it's really important that we keep building on the different layers as new technology comes available. So we feel very confident that this is good, but we're always evolving. So we're always considering what else we need to do to make it better. If there's no questions on that, I'm gonna go on and tell you about our cow, literally, we have a cow, and then our video and dispatch. Am I okay on time, sir?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So this is something that is new and ready, and we've used it on the 37E fire. And this is truly a mini cow. So a cow is a cell on wheels. And so when we have emergencies and we have to order up resources, we truly get on the phone and say, we need the barnyard. We need the cow, we need the colt, and the colt is a cell on light truck. So it's a resource that we actually purchased, and we have it at our facility and that you're able to use. And what it does is it stands up infrastructure if infrastructure is damaged. So if we had a situation where we were working a fire and we lost a cell tower, or maybe there's cell coverage isn't available there, but we need to be able to communicate, we can drag this device out and it just sits on the back of a hitch of a vehicle, and we're able to stand up a mile radius of cell service. And it's AT&T commercial, AT&T FirstNet for our public safety partners, and then Verizon commercial. And then we can also stand up Wi-Fi, so you could always go in a little bit closer in that bubble and do Wi-Fi calling. So we bought this, we stood it up, we've trained on it, we're using it actually this week, tomorrow, for some training with some SWAT folks up in Fort Collins. But it's an amazing tool that we're able to bring here to Larimer County. We just were awarded a grant, so we're gonna buy a second one, so that way we have 2 cows ready to go in the field for our partner agencies. So pretty excited to announce that. Any questions on that?
Why is it called cow?
It's called a cell on wheels.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so we fondly called it the mini cow.
Got it,
Because it's a
okay.
mini one.
I've seen CR,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, a compact rapid deployable, but truly they're cows.
Gotcha.
You're saying that AT&T provides the coverage for that, or is that somebody else? Or?
So we actually have multiple SIM cards in there. So we have the black SIMs, AT&T FirstNet, but we also added in AT&T commercial, and then Verizon. So Verizon commercial. So we were able to provide 3. T-Mobile, we did not put that in. It doesn't have great coverage up here in northern Colorado. From our partner agencies, AT&T and Verizon are the 2 most popular services.
Okay. Just kind of a flashback question.
Yes, sir.
2020, in California, they were having issues of certain fire jumpers out there trying to put out a fire, and they were dealing with, they couldn't get their cell phone connect because Comcast was throttling their data.
Yes.
Because why wouldn't Comcast do that sort of thing
Mhm.
in an emergency scenario? Is that something that you guys have kind of anticipated, is like, okay, we're having problems here, we can sidestep it?
So, fantastic question, and that's exactly where this came from. So I went to a conference and learned all about how they solved that solution or solved that problem, and it was deploying these mini cows in different areas. So it sidesteps it, creates your own network. The backhaul is satellite, so it's standing up your cell signal, but it's using satellite to pull in that signal. So you're not relying on Comcast, CenturyLink/Lumen, or even the wireless carriers who also can get inundated and overloaded. So you're using satellite to then do your backhaul. So what California did to remedy that is they deployed a lot of these mini cows throughout their area to actually stand up service again. Yeah, so, and this company, Rescue 42, is from California. Yeah, so great question. It's like we planned it.
I know, it's like, we talked about this earlier, can I bring this up?
Thanks for teeing it up for me,
Yeah.
sir. I appreciate it.
I had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Do they have any issues with topography?
Great question as well. So before we purchased it, we had a lot of different units that came up and we did some testing in the canyon. And what we'll see is if you're in the canyon, your coverage isn't flat, it's gonna come up like this. You may not get a mile radius wide, it's gonna come up the mountainside. So we're very much aware of that. If you're in a narrow canyon, so 34, there's an area over by the park there, washed out. So the Cedar Cove kind of area, it's very narrow. We cannot get a great line of sight. So you would have to position it either down, you'd have to set it up in a different area because it's so narrow and tight. So very aware of that, and we've been working with emergency services and trying to pinpoint different areas in the county that if we had a situation that we'd be able to deploy it and not have those topography issues.
Are they actually designated for it, or is that an internal kind of thing?
Is it, I'm sorry.
Do they have like an external designation as marked spots that the public's generally aware of, or is it more of an internal?
It's gonna be internal. Yep, and it's gonna be very dynamic based on the situation. So if we're working an area over by Carter Lake, we pretty much have an idea of where that's gonna go, but depending on the threat and where IC needs to stand up and where the comms needs to be, we would always evaluate it so we're aware, but then we have to always look at the situation and make adjustments.
Okay.
Great question. All right, I'm gonna talk about something really exciting now. This is video and dispatch. 5 more minutes?
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
you, unlimited time, go as long as you like.
Did you hear that? Yeah. So-
Bring snacks.
Quick snacks. Okay, so video and dispatch. So it's called Next Generation 911. We're used to voice calls. So people call 911 and that's great. And we've been doing that since 911 was born in 1990. So fantastic up here in Larimer County, voice calls, it's great. We went live with text 911 in 2014, which means anywhere in Larimer County you can text 911 and we're able to take that call and reply back on a text to you. So text went live in 2014. Since then, we've been gearing up and prepared for how do we take in photos, how do we do video. That's the next thing for 911. So we've been doing a lot of research, a lot of vetting of technology, how's it gonna impact call flow, and we're excited to announce that we are ready to go live with this August 1st. So it's live today in a soft launch where we're using it. We actually did a rescue of a lost hiker, and we also did another one where they were sending us video of a shoplift in progress at Costco. So we've been able to test it, to vet it, use it on real calls, and it's pretty amazing. There's some great technology of it, so I would like to just pull it up, do a live demo, and whenever you're trying to talk and navigate the screen and do a live demo, it can be tricky. But I am logged in to our system and I'm prepared to show you what this looks like. Are we able to shift over to this screen to present? Okay, thank you. First test. Oh, fantastic, thank
Do
you.
you have that now, Michelle?
Yes. Okay. All right, so this is what the dashboard looks like. And let me just start with, this is for 911 only. And you have to give me permission. So I can't decide I'm gonna hack into your phone and just send this to you. There has to be a relationship established and you have to give me permission. So what I would do is I would open this up. Let's assume we have a situation and we have a lost hiker. They kind of know where they are, but they can't describe it and I need to find them. So does somebody want to volunteer and give me their phone number to plug in? Any guarantees?
970-685-7737.
All right, so now this is really scary, let's hope it works. So on your phone, so now you're a 911 caller, we've established a connection and I'm asking you, you'd like to go ahead and send a video link to your phone. You say, okay, I send a video link. On his phone, he's gonna get a link that says, we're requesting access to your video, do you accept? So he's getting a text.
That's creepy, man.
And he's gonna click it, so now you'll see this green icon that says callers on link, and if you put your phone up and show us the video.
Let's see. Oh, there's no video, the video's off, is that me?
Yeah, you wanna say accept?
Tap to live stream and record video with the button.
Live stream would be awesome.
So there you go.
There we go. Oh, cool.
So now he's live streaming. So now we have a live stream of the video, and if you just wanna keep it tight and keep it active, that would be great.
Yeah.
In dispatch, this is what I would be able to see. So he would, again, I initiated, he accepted. So there had to be this two-way dialogue. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to flip the screen. So if I want to flip it, and now we see you. I'm
Hi,
gonna,
world.
so now I'm gonna flip it back. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I should have. Now what I can also do is I'm going to blur. So in dispatch, what we're trying to protect is any kind of threat to dispatch. They're busy taking the call. We know this is recording. I don't want to see what's going on, but I want to keep recording. I can blur your video. It's still recording, but I'm able to blur it so I can focus on the call. First responders may be able to see it, but I don't have to watch and see what's going on anymore. So I'm able to blur that while you're recording. So I'm gonna unblur it now. Now maybe you're showing me something that's really interesting and I need to grab it. I can take a quick photo and now I've captured a still photo of what you're streaming. So I've been able to capture a photo. You'll see it drop right down there. I'm also able to chat with you live. So I can send you a text and you're able to get that text and then send it back to me. So I can have a voice call, I can text, and I can have video all at the same time. So I can also do a command that hides the fact that you're streaming video. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna hit hide. And what your phone is your phone is gonna black out so people around you won't be able to tell that you're actually taking a video. So it protects the caller when they have that engagement. So your phone should have went black.
Yeah, so you can go to your home screen.
Yeah, we'll apply.
Okay, and then you can so it just blacked it out. So nobody can tell that he's actually connected to me and doing live video. The best part is I can conference in first responders. So all these features keep the dispatcher safe, keeps our caller safe, but now I need to conference in the sheriff's department. And I need them to be able to see what's going on inside while they're out there. I can share the incident and I'm able to send it via text and I just have to type in the person if they're in there or just add their number on the fly and then they're able to get the event and share it and they'll see all of the video and they'll see all of the text and they'll see the photos that were taken. So very excited. This is for 911, the next phase of what we're talking about for 911. So we're excited to announce it and we'll be live August 1st.
Wow.
So I'm gonna stop that so I don't creep you out anymore.
I know you're still watching.
I'm gonna resolve the incident and you're gonna get the fact it's been resolved and you'll know that it's closed out. I also want to point out the fact that I can't access anything on your phone. I see the video live and I can take photos. If you need to send me video or send me photos, you can upload those and then send it to me in our dialogue. I can also say to you, I would like your current locations. For the last hiker, we said, send me your location, and they pinpointed the GPS, and we were able to get that location. So, new for 911, you guys are the first to hear about the great news.
That's amazing.
Any questions on that? Again, don't be scared. It's all right.
That's staggering. Wow. That's gonna revolutionize active incidents.
And that's exactly what we're thinking. It's eyes inside. It's giving you situational awareness while you're responding or while there's an incident command. And so it's incredibly important that we're able to connect our first responders, connect dispatch to see exactly what's going on. So we think it's revolutionary. We're the first in the state to be live with technology like this. We're not first in the nation, but we're definitely ahead of the curve for 911 in Colorado. So we're really happy to be able to do this.
Prepared Live, is that a private company? Is that a company that's funded by LETA?
It's a private company, so it's a private contract that we've set up with this company to offer this technology. So it's outside of the 911 network, which is how we're able to do something so revolutionary.
I'm sure lots of lawyers have had lots of time to sit down and talk about legal implications on what property belongs where, expectations of privacy and all that.
Absolutely. So records retention, custodialship of evidence, being able to retain that, CJIS compliance, all part of the conversation. Absolutely.
Do they have like their books are open essentially? Should an audit come in, their books are open. It's not a for-profit kind of situation.
Right. It's open records. Everything would be subject to CORA, and you're absolutely right for inspection purposes.
Cool.
Yes.
I have some comments and
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for coming. And my emergency services information side is so excited that we're rolling this out. I think, and I love your partnership with maybe answering this question, but I think the biggest challenge we have in Berthoud is changing mindsets, because I think people are used to doing things a certain way. And I think the whole opting in procedure is something that they're still not wrapping their head around. And I don't know how many of you guys have done it, but it's actually extremely simplistic, really fast. It sounds complex, but it's very easy. And I think it's a matter of how we can work as a town to change that perception that we want to protect our information and not opt in, and we want to not get involved. But really, every single person that opts in or gets involved is a life save. And that's where we have to, even with neighborhood incidents, like one of the things that we dealt with at the fire department is if there was an incident and you had neighbors going out and trying to be reporters, essentially like they're self-initiated reporting, and instead if they would go and opt in and get the emergency alerts and get that information directly from the source, they would be safe, and it's a life save. And so I think that's where we have a lot of work as the town and partnering with LETA to make sure that we're changing the mindsets of this is how you receive notifications and how you get it in a timely way that's actually relevant, accurate, instead of on Facebook. Because I think the Facebook community pages are inundated with false information.
Right.
So I don't know if you guys have talked about small town, dynamics and how we can navigate that, but I think that's where we have the biggest challenge and obstacles, is kind of getting past the gossip mail and going into the accurate information.
Yeah, all excellent points. And yes, we talk about it all the time. And this is the best education possible. So that's where we have so many different options for people. If they choose not to opt in, we just ask them, please do something. Pick what's right for you, pick what's right for your family, but just make sure you understand the limitations. So if you do weather radio, just understand if you don't have good signal, what the limitations are. So we always ask them to think about all options and then pick what's right for them. But really, it's complicated. I had 20 minutes to walk through multiple layers. It's complicated. Emergency alerts are very, well, what does it mean? And where's it coming from? What are you gonna do with my data? So this type of conversation is really important. So if you have a town event and you need us to have a booth, you need us to set up in a library, to go to the senior center, whatever we can do to take that fear and uncertainty away so they can just talk, we can create the account for them. We do that in Estes Park often. We'll do mailings where they can just send a paper and then we sit down and create the accounts for them. So we're happy to do whatever your community needs, because it really is about your community. Everybody is a little bit different, and so we just are here to meet that need. And education's the biggest part. What it can't do and what it can do, and then they have to pick what's right for them. Which is why, again, we have all the different layers. So, great points.
Sorry, another question, the link that you sent over so we can see what it looks like on the eyes of the inside, is that only available with a text option, or if you call 911, I guess, how would they do that if, say, you need to get in touch with somebody but can't stop the text, or, I guess I'm just
Yeah,
confused how that would work.
So if you called me on 911 and you're reporting an in-progress crime, somebody with a gun, and I want to have eyes and see what that person looks like, you're describing it, I can keep you on the phone and send a text at the same time to your phone, and you can click that link. And then we can have the video and a phone conversation at the same time. And then I can conference in your chief, and then he can see it on his way. I mean, we're able to have multiple people on the event at the same time. If you only text me, I can do the same thing. Keep a text conversation going, send you the link, and then have the video and the text without the voice. So really, it's about the situation and what your safety is. The very first text to 911 call we received in 2014 was from a young lady who lived alone inside her apartment, and she heard noises at 2 a.m., scared her. She woke up, she took shelter inside her bathroom and started to text 911. So a voice call would have put her at risk. She felt somebody had broken into her apartment and she was terrified. Fort Collins responded, they made entry, they caught the bad guy. The bad guy was a raccoon. So you can imagine the noise that a raccoon was making in her kitchen. It sounded probably like it was in shambles. But in that case, you don't know till you're out there. So a voice call could have put her at risk, and so the text was a great solution.
Sure.
I'll go next. Thank you so much. I think the lack of questions was just how great a presentation you did. Super exciting. that was just amazing what you just did. I actually got stuck at a mountain that you might be familiar with, Old Man Mountain up in Estes, only because a lot of idiots like me go up there and get lost or wedged somewhere. I went right down the wrong side of the mountain. Luckily, it's in the city of Estes, so I had cell service. So calling to get rescued, they couldn't find me, and it was their idea for me to take a picture
Yeah.
of the firefighters that were way down below me, but they couldn't see me,
Mm-hmm.
and email it to them. And then from their side, they could take the angle of the photo, and it helped them identify me, find me.
Very
Um,
creative solution, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was on Estes a while back to do that, but this is, that, I always thought that was a fantastic idea. So to see this kind of codified into this, and the way you guys did it is amazing. I think that it really is a game changer.
Yeah, we think so too, and I've been in public safety for 29 years, and there's new developments that come about that just rattle your cage, and this is one of those that you just stop, pause, and take a look at it going, this is gonna save lives, and that's what it's all about. It really matters.
And I'm thinking you guys want the screen blanked out in case there's some kind of like a sexual assault case or something where you don't want anyone else in the room to know that this person's on the phone call, or
Exactly, an active shooter.
okay.
It could even be an active shooter where somebody glanced at your phone and saw that you were filming and live streaming. It could put your life at risk. So just looks nonchalant. Can't tell anything's going on, so we can block that out. Yes, sir.
I have an actual question. What rights, I guess, does the caller have for the video and the conversation and the entire, I guess, case as it starts recording, as it starts the text?
You bet. So the data could be requested going through their records department, and it would follow the normal release of information. So if a case is being investigated, it wouldn't be until the case is closed out and then the case is ready for release. So they would just file a records request through their records department, and then their records department through their normal release would be able to send them all that information that's been requested, including video, chat conversation.
But it's not necessarily stored on the caller's phone
Not-
as
no.
a document as it was on that.
Exactly. They're opening up their phone for a video feed, but nothing is stored on their phone. Now, if they take photos, obviously, or if they took a video, so in the case of our shoplift, they took a video and took photos, so that was stored on their phone, and then they uploaded it to us in this process. All right, well, thank you again for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it, and if you require any more information, I'm happy to come back at any time and give updates. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you, Chief Anderson, as well. I know you've been pushing this really hard, so appreciate it. Okay, next will be, we'll do reports, and then we can go into executive session, adjourn from executive session. Before we do reports, I had a little blurb I wrote up. I can't recover it, unfortunately, so I just wanted to state for Butch and Sarah, to kind of acknowledge they have some frustration with the process as far as transparency with, this has nothing to do with the actual negotiations on the contract, but just the ability to get information back and forth correctly. And they've kind of showed me some of these, including the email they sent out to us with the wrong purchase price. Previously, there was an issue with having the wrong well document number on there. And I think we're all in agreement, there's no one's particular fault for this. So my little speech was basically to say, I know how this can cause frustration and make you think there's something else going on, someone trying to hold this back, and that's not the case. I think this is an issue of how we can improve communications between both parties, and hopefully going forward, that'll really help clarify to them. And I think everyone knows, and I think they know, there might be a point where the board is in disagreement with them on something on the contract. And I think that's understandable as part of the negotiations. I think their point, and I think we all agree, is just to have the transparency there, so we're all looking at the same document and can agree or disagree on the same points. I think that was some of their frustration. So I just wanted to acknowledge, I actually thought they were going to be here tonight, but acknowledge them on that, and that we can improve, and I think we will. So that's all I have to say on that. Cool, let's move on to reports. We'll start out with, go right to left, Trustee Sorcelli.
just wanted to request an update on the town park status. Are you able to tell us at all about what's going on with the redevelopment and the time frame? Just had some questions from citizens on that.
Sure. Answer that?
No.
No?
You, oh, is that for me?
That's what I said, you want me to answer?
Yeah, please do.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jeremy,
The
you would
town
be the
park,
expert.
The
Yeah.
town park and redesign stuff.
I can make something up, I think.
Yeah. They're heading to 100% construction documents. We just finished the milestone of 50%, so we're working towards 100%. We anticipate, was it July? The original schedule was October to finish that and complete that, and then obviously we turn that into a bidding process for possibly next spring to go out and get that started probably in the next spring, April, May for the contractor schedule. Same type of procedures and policies or procedure that you guys are used to. Once we finish 100% CD, we'll bring it back and ask for proposal to go to bid, and then we'll go to bid and bring that back and go to bid award. But you're probably looking at 5 to 6 months to do that from here.
And that's when construction would commence?
I anticipate construction just because of the winter and things like that. It could start earlier, but I anticipate usually March and April, beginning of the year.
Thank you. That's good feedback.
Yep.
I did not have anything else to report.
Trustee Ayers?
So the port committee did not meet this month. They took a break for a month off, so I have nothing to report there. I did sit in on the youth advisory committee, and they were 100% focused on the Scorch Fest, which is coming up at the end of the month. They're still having a little bit of time or a little bit of trouble filling as many volunteer spots as they would want. So they're asking kind of everyone to get word out, just, can you volunteer for a shift, this or that. Basically, that was the main focus of their entire meeting. They're finalizing everything, so everything looks like it's going to go off hopefully without a hitch. It makes me pretty proud of a bunch of 15, 16, 17-year-olds that they can put something like this together. So I wouldn't have been able to do that when I was their age. I could barely tie my shoes. So everything's going well, and they asked for nothing from us. I asked if they wanted me to bring anything up besides that, and they just, nope, they got it.
Awesome. Trustee Murphy?
I have nothing new to report. I'm looking forward to the tree advisory committee next week. But other than that, I'm happy to be back.
Awesome. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, by the way, Trustee Ayers, for going and sitting in on that. It's pretty cool seeing, being that age and being obsessed with not productive stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really cool seeing that contrast. They are also actually meeting tomorrow at the rec center at 8 a.m. in person to kind of essentially walk the grounds, make sure everything's going to fit for what they want it to do, and vendors going to be there. So yeah, it's going to be. This is like the big one everybody's been waiting for to make sure it's all going to fit. So yeah, that's their next step. Now in terms of that was it. I would, I guess, like to see if we can get on the schedule with Administrator Kirk and Attorney Smith, and just kind of essentially sit down and figure out the processing, how essentially land acquisition goes, like working contracts, and make sure the process in itself, everything's okay. If that's something we could, I guess, get on schedule, just to make sure we're doing our due diligence to make sure all the processes are well established. If that's something we could get to meet with, I suppose. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, that's all I have.
Awesome. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
And Trustee Hardy's out. I had a slow week too. I had an MPO meeting the same night, Youth Advisory. Did they come down and get the food?
No, they ordered a large pizza for 3
Oh,
of them.
okay. So Mike was saying they're gonna do too. Well, we had a ton of
Only
food
one
left
of them
over.
eats it.
Yeah.
He eats, it's like, say something, he'll eat a slice, and then they just kind of walk on, and it slowly evaporates, and then there's only 2 slices left. But the guy runs track, so I guess that, they can just burn whatever.
But yeah, the MPO meeting was good. It was relatively short. Last time it'll be in Berthoud this year. So other than that, gonna bring up some. Rec Center entrance. It looks like all the trees are dying. Did you guys notice that? Is there? Do you know what's going on, or are we just gonna replace them?
Yeah, they're still under warranty, so there'll be a walkthrough coming up in the next week or so to identify. They've been identified as part of the walkthrough to replace.
Okay,
It's
great.
unfortunate, and
They were all going, so it was like must be some kind of disease then, not just one. You know?
stress or
Okay.
yeah.
And then related was you brought this up to Administrator Kirk, but we were looking into the seed mix that was put on to see if there was any what do you call it?
Foxtail.
Yeah, foxtail in them. They're going into dog's ears.
Yeah, and I can go through that in my report as
Okay.
well. That's a slide in the report.
Oh, perfect.
Not
All right.
specific to foxtail, but I can address it.
Yeah, awesome. That is it for me. So we'll go over to Deputy Town Administrator Jeremy.
Aaron,
I got Aaron is last, but
Oh.
Attorney said you
Oh,
go
she's
next if
last.
you want. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is reserved for executive session,
Okay.
so I'm.
so seeing the agenda tonight was a little light with staff and talking with staff, and came up with a little idea to give you kind of a running update of some things maybe you haven't heard, maybe you have, but put them in kind of a picture deal and make it a little fun tonight, something. When we get a little lighter agenda, we can talk a little bit about through these things and spend a little bit more time. But I just want to update you on a few things. I put, with help of my staff, put some stuff together. Just out in the field stuff. We're doing a lot of things, obviously. Probably goes without saying, a lot of departments are doing a lot of stuff. But mainly these are out in the town stuff was my focus. Out in the field, out in the town that maybe people see and want to know. So we started our asphalt projects, and all we're addressing in this map in the pictures is the yellow lines. Just disregard. They're on the plan, the other colors. We're just this year addressing the ones in yellow. They're listed here on the left. What the street names are. The highlighted one in Iowa is the one we started on the 5th, and we've worked through that, and we're almost on to Colorado in the next couple days. And then you'll see the chip seal and a recent picture. We are replacing all the curbs and gutters through these as well, and some sidewalk repairs as well as we go through. Not all sidewalks in all locations, but some sidewalk repairs is appropriate. Like I said, we're finishing Iowa and Colorado. Those have some sidewalk repairs as well. And then you'll see some asphalt go through there. Yes, sir.
What is the distinction between what sidewalks you will repair and which sidewalks you will not? What's the line, I guess?
I mean, it's safety, hazard, judgment, common sense. They do have some standards that Keith goes by as he works with the contractor and our consultant as well with Baseline as they inspect them. Tripping hazards, cracks, severity of cracks. They go through a general list of common sense stuff that I think every city or municipality goes through. Yeah. Just want to identify this. This is great communication, great plan. The Public Works Director and Street Department put together a sweeping schedule for town. And they put on their website, got really good feedback from Facebook, really just letting people know where and when and how long, and they anticipate doing these every second week of the month. And this is just the areas and the regions they go to. They went out and took, kind of the drive and the road trip and identified the priorities based on, the trees and leaves and debris that comes down, and so they're gonna be more efficient at this, and they're very excited about this plan and showing it off, so I wanted to put it in here. It's very important, that's one of the services for town, right? So it's a little street sweeping program and their little.
That's
areas.
awesome. We haven't had a schedule before, right?
Yep.
I think it's always kind of, we'll come by sooner or later. Is
Yeah.
Area 1, is that Hillsdale and then Heritage Ridge?
Looks like it.
Yeah, thank you.
All in one, okay, cool.
Got cropped there a little bit.
Oh, this is great.
First Street, Main Street roundabout, that's carried a little through the winter. That's kind of the challenge of starting those projects in September and October. A little longer than staff wanted, myself included. We've been back. We had a little delay with getting plants from the nursery. But we're completed. We're gonna get some trees in the middle there and finish up with some plantings, hopefully at the end of this week and for early next week. And that'll be done and installed, so hopefully you like the improvements down there. But generally what's left is plantings and 3 or 4 trees.
In the middle there?
Yes.
Okay, great.
There's a question in public comment and probably in your emails as well about EAB and EAB treatments for the residents. Forestry's gone out. They measured them, used our online system. They've gone out in the field. They're starting to identify based on the list that we've had before. 2-year treatments, we're coming back to those and procuring bids for those in the fall. If they've been treated before, like I said, the residents don't need to do anything. I think staff will reach out and let them know. Obviously, we've identified ash trees in town through our website 3 or 4 years ago, and we constantly update that. So just let you know that those EAB treatments will be done this year in the fall. Our trail, not a greatest picture, you know, sidewalk and dirt, but it's just an update to our trail gap project. If you remember, South Bertha Parkway between Welch and Spartan on the east side of the road. Curb and gutter has been installed and native seed have been completing. They'll do another round in the fall of native seeding, and the trail has been completed through there. So we're just finishing up the final payments, final touches. We're very excited about that connection. And it's well received, well used. Roberts Lake Pavilion on the north side of town. Old Town for right now. Bunyan. They installed a pavilion there, just finished up a week or so ago, and we're putting couple new picnic tables, ADA accessible later this summer. But that turned out really nice. I'm really proud of that as well. Getting good feedback. Trying to update some parks with some of that.
Is there any plans for, I guess, one of those grills that you can kind of set into the concrete? Did you see like certain parks? Are there any plans for that, or is that not in the scope of adding this as a pavilion or a?
No, great idea. I can talk with Keith and stuff like that. They just finished it, but obviously, yeah, that's something we can always add, and ask. Yeah, maybe they're still thinking about that. As this got completed, but definitely goes with pavilions.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody ever uses them because they look gross as hell, but figured they should be there.
Right.
They do.
This is the monument sign. That's the previous couple of trustees that were in the previous board suggested, and we've finally had some bids and contractor get through that. That was installed almost 2 weeks ago as well. The sign, we tried to mimic, I guess, lack of better terms, so the Wagner that you see at the Tree the Rec Center and the reservoir. A little cost prohibitive. We thought to do another sign like that. This is in the same flavor a little bit. The team is going to clear the area around there, do some plantings, put some different variations at the bottom, so it's not just a sign stuck out, and move some of the T-posts and things around that, so it dresses that up. Really nice sign to the entry to the reservoir.
Were there any plans for any kind of lights underneath to kind of cast up at that? Or?
Solar. We've looked in electricity for a long time and wanted delays. We can't get any electricity out there, so it'll have to be solar.
Are you saying Excel is problematic in this area?
Hmm?
Are you saying Excel needs another easement out there?
Yeah, and it's actually really problematic because it's a no man's land through there. It's a triangle between Poudre Valley and Excel. Nobody really wanted it, and there's a reason why. We had to, if you guys remember, we had to get an easement to come through the east side from the railroad to bring electricity to the reservoir, the reservoir parking area and the bathrooms and stuff. So this is the mayor's question, Mayor Kirschbeck. Just showing you, we put a plan together. We were concerned about the seating. What this shows is different colors of different levels of. We walked it with our weed consultant, Greater Ecology, with our landscape architect that was on this job, as well as staff. We spent a half day walking this site, identifying what we heard from the community, identifying with staff, with our that team, and then the next day we came back with a contractor with this plan and said, hey, here's where the problem areas are, what's going on here, here's the seed that we didn't think was accomplished, here's where we're gonna monitor it, here's where you're complete. So just kind of basically a discussion about where we're at, where we need to be, and whose roles where, and who's gonna take up maintenance. So very good, two very good back-to-back day meetings with the general contractors as well. Very positive, but there you'll see some change out there, some identification and some removals, some mowing, some reseeding to take care of some of those problems that have arisen. We've had some water challenges, irrigation breaks and stuff that they fixed, and some communication breakdowns that we've redirected and fixed. So my point being is, great plan that was identified. The colors are at different levels and different acceptances. The red is, as you'll see, is the challenge that we don't think was seed, and we went over that at the bottom. And we're gonna rectify that here in the next, from yesterday basically until the next 4 or 5 weeks till we get seed back down.
You guys are on it, awesome.
Okay. First 3 quarter plan, just a reminder, the next event, they're working on that. The next event will be next Thursday, July 21st, 6 p.m. at the Northern Colorado Water District. We did send out letters of information and public outreach to have folks attend that, homeowners, property owners, business owners. But that first street, we want some input and we want people's feedback so they can attend that. So I just want to remind people. Then a couple things. The next regular meeting, Larimer County is one of the agenda, is on the agenda. They're going to do a presentation about regional transportation. And they're going to ask, they're seeking input for kind of coming back to us about what partnership and collaboration, what level, things like that. But I just want to let you know that they're going to be asking you questions. I've been attending some of the meetings. They've kind of got it started back up prior to me, but they've been working on it the last couple. But they're seeking community input and what level from different boards, and they've been on a 2-month kind of rolling presentation to each one of the cities and each one of the boards, and getting and asking questions and asking what you guys think of regional transportation, where it's at. So they'll just be, kind of an integration, participatory thing back and forth to be, a good presentation.
Cool.
Okay. Skate park at the rec center. We'll get some fencing and a shelter. Our shelter's been on delay from supply issues that everybody seems to have still. So our shelter will be in the next 2 or 3 weeks out there. So the kids will get a shelter, or adults that do as well. Trash cans, benches, as well as seating areas and a fence.
The shelter for the skate park, whereabouts is that gonna be in relation to that skate park?
Okay, so the skate park on the west side, where the road comes in, the west entry to the rec center, as you come driving by it, it'll be on that side, the road side. On the south side of the park, it'll be situated on the southwest part of the park, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I got there.
No, I didn't even know there was supposed to be one there.
Of
so
the
I-
skate park, not of
Yeah.
the park, the skate park.
Right.
I'm surprised nobody said it, but 4th of July, maybe it's been a delay, maybe it's been a couple.
It was amazing.
There you go, there's a lead.
It was awesome. I think, yeah, Facebook was really, I left the next morning for Minnesota, but I was getting notifications and everyone was like, yeah, awesome. So I thought it was fantastic.
It was amazing, Jeremy.
We're very proud, the chamber was involved with our staff and
If you
our
keep the beer
public
garden
works and
open.
our rec, and a lot of moving parts, as you know, another film festival. New location for the event piece, not necessarily the fireworks. As you remember, 2 years ago we were there. I think we found a landing spot. I think the staff is very excited about the turnout, the space. There's some small tweaks, but nothing challenging. That will just keep making it better and better. But very collaborative effort with our staff and contractors in the chamber as well. So.
Do you
Very
have an
exciting.
estimate on how many people you think were there? I know it's hard to judge, but do you have an estimate on how many you think?
I mean, It was impressive just because of the space, and I'll just say what I heard and what I saw. I heard the the school district bleachers were full, the football field, the practice field or the auxiliary deal was full. When I left, I kind of scanned across the 2 soccer fields on Wagner, and all I saw were just heads everywhere. And I made the comment to my family, "Whoa, look at all those!" Because it's hard to tell because it's so spread out. But we got a lot of people there, and then of course the Adams across the street from Adams. There's people sitting on the south, people at their homes. I think there was a good reach. Is my point.
I agree,
That
and
location.
I'm sorry for not complimenting you. I feel like you always hear when something doesn't work well,
Right.
and then when it's amazing, it's kind of crickets.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like we had, especially being in the beer garden, that front row seat to the music and to the show. I feel like the town nailed it after a couple of years of just trying to navigate that.
Yeah.
You guys did such a great job. What a great addition to our community.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, so it's our 4th year, and we said it landed there, and we're happy where it's at. So thank you guys for Wagner Park.
Thank
So-
you. You think we could do corporate donations next year to, like we talked about doing, people donating, companies donating money? Think we could do that next year to?
Yeah, we wanted to get, you're right. We
Yeah.
wanted to get more ahead of it, or in the early months, like in November or in October, and start doing that rather than right before.
Yeah.
But yes, that would be part of the plan to do that, absolutely. If they so choose. Next Tuesday is the 19th. That's a special meeting for you all.
Yep.
Just a reminder to interview the applicants and meet them and for the replacement or trustee or the fill, however you want to put it. And then lastly and most importantly, I guess, is Chris will be back tomorrow, I believe. If not, he'll be here Thursday because I'll be calling him. But he's anticipated back tomorrow, I believe. So don't all run to the storefront, but he should be in his. Thank you.
I had a couple questions. I got a call on Friday because town's closed, and someone called me about dust at the construction site on 287 and Mountain, is the west side crossing, the new one. But it was Friday, and I didn't go out there to verify it. But she was just saying it's good enough on. I know Kurt does a good job at just trying to keep it on the radar that if they are getting dust in all those houses, maybe we could require that they put water down.
Absolutely, and Teresa does a good job as well. I don't know if it's necessarily in her job, but she does go out and communicate when we get those phone calls. Unfortunately, it's Friday, but we do a great job. I feel the staff does a great job.
Yeah,
Getting on top of those when we get those, so we appreciate those phone calls.
Cool. There are signs out, I don't know if you've seen them, about yes to the bike park, but no to the access on either side of the right of way. Did you see those?
I saw a picture of one. I haven't seen it
Okay.
physically.
Yeah.
I've seen a picture of one.
My question is actually, well, it's just not really regarding the signs, but would all farming cease once the bike park started? Or is there a way to keep that going if the bike park is under construction?
I think what I heard was on farmers' leases.
Yeah.
Did they stop?
Will they, or are they gonna continue once the bike park starts? If the
Well,
bike park starts.
There's 2 leases on the property.
Okay.
There's a small 20 acre, that's the bike park, so
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna stop. It's gonna discontinue. The other lease is for the majority and it's to the east of the ravine.
Okay.
That'll continue, just like we worked with the 20 acre farmer. His lease, we're still working with him until we go, all the way up to the day as far as he wants to go.
Okay.
Same with Richardson. Until we start developing and moving dirt, we'll continue those leases. And that ability for them. And we work with them and let them know, part of our lease is 90 days ahead. And then we work with them and so we're not, pinning them down in any way, shape or form and allowing them a little flexibility in their lease.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, to that, any idea when we're gonna hear back about the bike park? About when we should hear back, a couple months or something? Or?
We anticipate bringing it back on the 26th. I'm gonna take a look at the agenda and things, but it's, as you go light, obviously that's great for tonight, but that means stuff's coming. The next one probably have, once that agenda gets written out and depending on what's kind of required to be there and what's good to be there, on the 26th, but we anticipated before this meeting that the bike park would come back on the 26th. Whether that happens will be up to Chris as he generates and the mayor as they generate the agenda, because it could be pretty packed that night, and that's something that could always be moved, depending on priority. But the 26th, yeah.
Right on. Attorney Smith?
Again, mine is just reserved. I will mention that my associate Alicia is scheduled to be at the meeting on the 26th. So
Alicia, okay, cool.
I've got some commitments out of town, so.
Cool, I hope they're fun, but we'll work with Alicia while you're gone. Great. Okay, I'm sure, you'll remember her name as well.
Yes.
Great, okay.
I'll send you
Thank
an email.
With that concludes reports, would anyone like to move us into executive session?
I will move to enter into executive session pursuant to CRS section 24-6-402-4A regarding discussions related to the purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real estate, personal or other property interest. CRS 24-6-4024E to determine positions relative to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators. And CRS 24-6-4024B for a conference with legal counsel for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions. And the following details are provided: possible purchase of legal farm.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, trustee Ayers moved on this executive session. Trustee Murphy has seconded. Clerk, will you roll call vote, please?
Trustee Sorsali,
Yes.
trustee Ayers,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grace,
Yes,
Mayor Horsley.
Yes.
and I will be recusing myself from the executive session.